in the sermon what Joe had to say. I don't see where Joe is, but and also what right there, right up front, what he had to say. Some of the things Jay had to say, and I just wanted us to remember why we're here. And I thought it best to read some excerpts of a few articles that were in the Monroe County paper and some other magazines that I've seen that came out about the time that we started. And it gives a good reason, better than I can tell you, of why it is that we're here. The first one was an article that the Monroe County Reporter put out. It says, in Monroe, 3 out of 4 saying no to church. This was in 2008 and 2009. This is in this county. It said, attendance numbers from local churches seem to show about 75 to 80% of this county's population doesn't bother to go to church on an average Sunday morning. At best, 4,000 of the county's 26,000 residents attend church. 4,000 out of 26,000. When asked, they asked several preachers. There's a lot of churches around. I mean, there's one right across the street from us, several around here on the square. They said that the problem seemed to be not a lack of effort on the part of the churches, but they weren't asking what the unchurches need. The first place we need to start is the unchurched. And you've heard Pastor preach on this many, many times about our focus was the unchurched. You've heard him say many, many times, it's not about us. It's about those other people, the other 22,000 in this area. This is a statistical account. A closer look at statistics gives a glaring missing link in what we're doing for young people in this area as a church bodies. I'm saying all Christians. More than 55% of our churches, nearly 60%, failed to baptize one teenager last year. Yet it has been documented that 75 to 85% of all conversions occur prior to the age of 18. That means beyond the teenage years, only 15 to 25% of all people will make it to heaven. The pastor said it in his sermon, but it's actually 47. It takes 47 believers for one person to come to Christ. That's the stat. 47 people out there amongst the world we live in to make it one person to come to Christ. And the last little group of things I had was, this is a statistic they have on the state now. This is not just the county, but it said that 70% of the state of Georgia is unchurched. That means that approximately 6.8 million people have no church relationship at all, anywhere, of any type of church whatsoever. If present trends continue, we've been told by 2025, estimated 90 to 95% of the U.S. will be unchurched. That's less than 15 years from now. People in our culture are not anti-church. They are simply view church as irrelevant in their lives. So think about that. It's not that they're against it. They just view it as not something that they need to be focused on. Each year, 3,500 to 4,000 churches close their doors forever, yet only 1,100 to 1,500 new churches are started. So the answer was to plant new churches. And that was what we came about. And just to give you what I think Jay was the one that said it, we started with 33 people. They met a couple times, and they discussed and voted, hey, do we want to do something here for the unchurched in this area? And this covers a broad spectrum of people, not just adults, not just young people. But we met, we voted on the name Sanctuary because we wanted a place to be that was a place that we felt comfort, a place that we felt secure, and a place that we felt safe. We thought that was very important because there's a lot of things out in the world that are unsafe. We really essentially started with nothing but God's leading. We didn't have anything. We had no money. We had no direction. All we had was God's leading. And to give you an example of God leading, when we were looking for a place, we didn't know what we could afford. Those of you that were here from a ways back know that we were sitting at the Ramada Inn. The reason we were meeting there was because the minister's wife found out we were trying to start a new church and gave us a 50% discount on what the cost would have been for us to use those rooms that we used for so long. And that's the reason why we were able to find a place to meet initially. We called Michael in 2010. We were on about a month. We had our first anniversary last year, and we had our first baptism. And those of you that were there remember the number of people that we had at our baptism. It was a big, it was at least 80 or 85 people. I'm telling you, it was a lot of people, and it was good to see that kind of growth and that kind of action. We moved from Ramada here in the fall of last year. There was a lot to be done with this building. Everybody that knows that was involved with that. So many things have been done. There's still a few things to do, but so many things have been done. It's hard to believe that we ever actually met at a hotel now. It seems like it's always been this way. I wanted to give a statistic after giving those kind of depressing stats from the newspapers. Since we started, based on what we started with and the number of members, I talked to Miriam this morning, we have added an average of one new member every 2 weeks in our existence in 2 years. And that's not just to pat ourselves on the back, that's just to remind ourselves what we're here about. And to say, hey, that's a good start, but hey, there's still 22,000 people out there in this county that need to be in church and have some church affiliation. And we need to remember that they are under oppression. The devil doesn't want them to church. So keep that in mind. Keep that as our focus for what we're doing in the next 2 years. And I appreciate taking some of y'all's time. Thank you.